Hello, Smoss. So I am here today to do my English culminating. So I will be discussing the themes in Hamlet and Frankenstein. So let's begin with the Hamlet themes. So for the first Hamlet theme, I will be doing madness, and the quote I use for that is, "I am but mad north-northwest when the wind is southerly, and I know a hawk from a handsaw." And that quote explains that sometimes the wind blows differently, and he just gets angry. And the theme about Hamlet and madness is that he claims that he is acting that he is mad, when really sometimes he is acting, sometimes he is not. Polonius believes that he is mad because of Ophelia, and but it is really a revenge plot against Claudius to gain revenge and believe that he is crazy. And for a real world connection, I'm going to use a connection to Kanye West, because he recently had a public recount where he almost killed his child. And again, Hamlet did this in acting for publicity, and Kanye is doing this as a presidential campaign vote. So, my next theme I will be doing will be corruption. So the quote I use for this is, "Oh, my defenses rank, it smells to heaven. It hath the primal eldest curse upon a brother's murder." And this is Claudius explaining that he did, in fact, kill his brother, which is obviously very corrupt. So there's corruption in the throne. Claudius is the king, and obviously it was Hamlet who was supposed to be inherited into the throne. However, Claudius married Gertrude, which is the queen, and he later became the king because of that. And Claudius murdered his own brother to become king. His brother was the king, and he murdered him by poisoning him. And I believe that that is very corrupt, and should not be a part. And for a real connection, I related this to Vladimir Putin, as he is a corrupt leader, and he rigged the Russian election, or changed the whole presidential campaign so that way he could not become so no one else could become the Russian president, and it would be just him and being president forever, per se. The next theme I'll be doing of Hamlet is the theme of revenge. So obviously, the quote I use for that is, "Your worm is your only emperor for diet. We fed all creatures else to feed us, and we fed ourselves from maggots." So I use this quote because it is Hamlet explaining to Claudius how he uses his fat as worms, I guess. And so Hamlet wants revenge. He craves revenge over Claudius, so it drives him mad as well. And because Claudius obviously killed his father and married his mother, Hamlet does not despises that. So Hamlet kills Polonius. He rejects his friends. He has a sword fight with Laertes, and in the end, obviously, revenge does not work out in each of their favors. And in the end, Hamlet does not succeed in becoming king.
Go.
So my real life example for revenge, I did a example of Future and Scottie Pippen. So Future, when he was a kid, he asked Scottie Pippen for an autograph, and Scottie Pippen denied it. So later, Scottie Pippen's wife had an affair with Future, and the alleged reason is that, of course, Future was denied the autograph, but that is only alleged. But regardless, that is the revenge story that I chose. So now we move on to the Frankenstein themes. So the first theme of Frankenstein I'll be talking about is alienation. The quote I use for that is, "Satan had his company's fellow devils to admire and encourage him, but I am solitary and abhorred." And I use that quote because he is literally comparing himself to Satan, as he did not feel that he had a purpose, and he felt that Satan had friends. Satan is the devil. Why can't I have friends? And he was also abandoned by his leader, his creator, Victor Frankenstein, and he had to figure out how to live properly. He discussed how he had to figure out the difference between hot and cold, how to breathe properly, and how to circulate his blood. And I would like to relate this to involuntary self-isolation and quarantine, because both in Quarantine and the monster, they were both self-isolated, and they could not, they had to be alienated due to society, and, Frankenstein was abandoned him because he was hideous, and of course, if you have the virus, you're gonna have to be self-isolated. So my next theme I will be doing would be injustice. So the quote I used for this was, "Justine was a girl of merit and possessed qualities which promised to render her life happy. Now all have been obliterated to an ominous grave." And Justine, if you didn't know, was pled guilty in the case where the monster murdered William Frankenstein. and she was a great girl, and unfortunately she had to be she was executed due to her crimes. Victor felt it was his fault, but however, it was just the monster being a monster. And I would like to rate this to Breonna Taylor, because her and her family were massacred by the police, and there was great injustice. The whole Black Lives Matter movement, it is all just injustice, as they felt like they were treated unfairly, which they were, and it was not good. Instead, like, there needs to be justice for those people that killed Breonna Taylor and her family. So the next theme I'll be doing will be ambition. And the quote I use for this is, "For when I would account to myself for the birth of that passion which afterwards ruled my destiny, I found it rise like a mountain river." That is Victor Frankenstein describing his own ambition and passion for science and electricity. And Frankenstein himself was very ambitious, and of course he used to create life. So Robert Walton was also a character in Frankenstein who was very ambitious as well as a scientist, and he became acquaintances with Frankenstein after Frankenstein told him the entire story. And of course, he became the innovator. Frankenstein became the innovator creating life and created the monster, of course, even though he did not like its creation. However, it is very ambitious that he created life in a lab using electricity. And as a real world war connection, I will do Nikola Tesla, as he was a man who worked with electrical currents and was a mad scientist who, well, he wasn't mad, but he was a great scientist who used stuff like the remote control, which unfortunately I can't find one of them. See, he was responsible for creating the remote control, which is something that I use every day, and that is a great, he was a great scientist, of course. So is Victor Frankenstein. Now, thank you for watching, and I will give you my works cited and everything. Thank you for a great semester in summer school, and see you later.